All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a game of League of Legends that will hopefully have
Hi,
nothing in common what you just saw. Back in our day versus Ornhub, and this game is huge.
Yeah, it means everything for the playoff picture. I mean, at least out of all the games tonight, has the most impact. So basically, two ways this plays out tonight. If Ornhub wins, no tiebreakers, they will take the second seed, and Back in Our Day will take the third seed. But if Back in Our Day wins, they obtain the they tie for first, and then have to play a tiebreaker game against enemy Gate is down. So we'll see if Ornhub can do it, but today they are actually fielding two emergency subs. Thor on the Wind and Duoji all missing tonight, so Sword Mace and Foulin W, our resident emergency sub, are filling in.
Yeah, so we'll see what these guys can do. The way I see it is as long as the Mighty Wolf is there,
What's the worst that can
Ornhub is
happen?
still competitive in this, and the Mighty Wolf is there.
Yeah, I think they really do want to win this. Like, they want to go into the postseason with that momentum and with the second seed, so having to miss out on a potential best of 5 for them will benefit them.
However, Back in Our Day also really wants to win this because there are rumors of some work issues for Master Splinter and potentially would not be able to play in the semifinals. So they want to just get that bye straight to the finals and not have to worry about figuring anything else out. But that's then, this is now, and holy shit have these been some exciting picks. After not choosing to pick the Canarita last week, Sinister Beyblade is taking his one trick into the blind match at mid lane, up against Blabour, and Master Splinter also getting this Wukong that has been banned a ton this season.
What? What? Out of all the games to let it through, this is the one, I guess.
I don't think they think it's any good. I've been talking to some people, and they think it is not worth the hype.
Well, okay, so that must mean Katarina's not in a good place, right?
Presumably, yeah.
Okay.
Whereas the Xerath has been this gigantic composition-defining pick for Ornhub for most of their winning streak over the second half of this season. But I don't know, man. I've been around the SBL for a long time. I know some of these one tricks. There's a reason for the hype.
Yeah. Every time people underestimate it, they get that champion and then they just style on them.
And that's the kind of pick I could see Blabour just when he has his occasional blab, loses his lane game. Katarina is the kind of pick that usually gets that ball rolling, you know?
Yep. Yeah, we'll see if he can stabilize in the lane against Beyblade, and so he doesn't start snowballing on Katarina. Also, Sword Mace picking that Morgana, that's going to benefit really well when Sinister Beyblade wants to go in, getting that CC reduction.
Yes, we got bans rounding out here. The Malphite targeted at Sword and Mace.
Taking away Zyra from Scotchna, he's played a lot of this season.
Want me to wait while you go get them?
To varying degrees of success. Some very bad games on it, but then some okay games on it. But it's a pick that they like to pick.
And this is probably one of the better places to have banned it. It synergizes with the Lissandra Wukong super easy wombo combo.
Yep. Yeah, that's a very good point.
And also synergizes with this Alistar pick, because you don't want to play Alistar into a Zyra if you don't have to.
Yeah. That traditionally a very tough matchup for the Alistar. But, I mean, Alistar? Cal question mark? I mean, when was the last time you saw this guy?
Well, more importantly, now, who is going where? Is that a Morgana going top lane?
Oh.
The Alistar is a Darius.
Oh.
That settles a lot of things.
I don't have anyone added. Wait, what? Oh, does the other team know? Oh, no.
Okay, well, you know what? This league's almost over, so I guess I'm not that concerned about it. That's a rant for another time that will never occur. But here in the present, we've got Ornn going over to Dario Chopman. This is a pick that a lot of people have been hyping up. Although I did just get confirmation that back in our day was not aware that was Darius until after it was picked. But, alright, draft is over, so let's find out real fast. I have no idea if that Amumu is actually Amumu or not. But we do know what we've got coming out of the other side here, and that's a Trundle to round things out. So, Trundle support for the Scotchonaut, I assume?
Uh, yeah. A moo. That is that real? Uh,
Alright, so only one placeholder pick here, and that is the Darius that was picked to go up against Ornn. But I do agree with Cal here in Twitch chat that it does make sense to pick some Amumu there, synergize with the Beyblade.
yep, very true. So we'll fly through picks and bans here. So if I remember the compositions correctly, a lot of AoE team fighting for both sides.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised. Week 10, you know, seeds on the line. Pick something easy. Pick Wombo.
Yeah. Yep, both of these teams looking to stay coordinated and winning the team fights decisively.
Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
And so we'll just take a sec here while these teams re-lock everything. Fortunately, this draft going pretty fast, and then we'll be able to actually see the comps in front of us again. We can get you some real bad analysis.
Yeah.
But this is going to be some pressure on, if that is Sword of Mace in the jungle. Amumu, a very plump rump for the enemy jungler to invade, and Master Splinter is going to know that Wukong excels in that situation.
Seems you left your brave
Yep.
pants at home.
Yeah,
You want me to
Splinter,
wait while you go get
he
them?
sees the sad mummy and he's hungry. He's gonna be looking out for him and can easily take him out in any kind of duel in the early game. It's a matter of whether they can get to late game though, because what I know about Kai'Sa, very high amount of damage to say the least, and I mean Mumu pairing up with a Katarina ultimate always is good on paper.
Yeah, to me, bot lane is going to be... There's a lot of really exciting picks, but bot lane is what's going to define this matchup. Because we've seen Salvo and Scotch just... We've seen back in our day lose games because of how bot lane plays the first 5 minutes. And we've seen the Mighty Wolf win games because of how he plays the first 5 minutes. The Mighty Wolf may be having an MVP season here. And if he has one of those giant games, which Kaisas have been pretty prone to do in this season of the SBL, that would really be a disaster for back in our day. And Ornhub is going to need that performance out of the Mighty Wolf here.
Yeah, he needs to fire on every single cylinder he has under the hood.
It is worth noting though, on a last minute swap here, Scotch picking up the Ornn as the support with Trundle going to the top lane for Dario Chaman.
Oh, that actually is better. Yeah, I assume Trundle, as a bruiser himself, at least he can build that way. Can kind of actually stand toe to toe with the Darius. Whereas, I mean, well, hell, what do I know? I mean, I've seen Ornn. He looks really good as a tank. I feel like he could also stood up to Darius, but I guess Trundle's maybe a better pick here.
Yeah, and Trundle, For as much hype as there's been about the Chop Man on the Ornn, Trundle does seem like one of those more traditional mad cow kinds of picks. Get fed, split push all day, be able to 1v1 anyone.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. I wonder if Scotch has played Orin. I wonder if this is like, guess, like it was shown at least a very like last second decision, like, hey, I want the better matchup in the top lane, swap me, or it was like, oh no, we both can play those champions, and it all kind of works out.
Yeah, I do get the impression this team has been preparing a bit more seriously in the past month, so I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. I would assume that was more planned out.
Hmm. So both mid laners, Lissandra and Katarina, Renai Circulation, and Beyblade, respectively, both taking Ignite. So uh, things could get heated, to say the least, in the mid lane. Yeah, very interesting. I would have imagined Renai Circulation to actually pick a teleport or maybe a heal. Like sort of stave off the aggressive laning that Beyblade might show, and then sort of help out his team later in the game with like a second teleport.
Yeah, I really would have liked to see that, especially because last week we saw Blab Lissandra into, I believe it was Disenchanted on the Kled. It was a pretty rough early learning phase for Renai. And maybe it's just Katarina. I mean, Katarina is going to be very weak until level 6, so I'm assuming Vlad just intends to capitalize on that window and get ahead, but the teleport on Lissandra can be very powerful.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, even in the early game, like once you hit 6, you can teleport to top or bot and be right behind them, and it's an easy CC chain from there.
Well, this is it. Potentially the last regular season game ever played in the Swain Baddy League.
Yep. Let's hope it's a little bit more engaging, a little more back and forth than the last two games we just saw. I think it should be, but I don't know. But both these
Yeah.
teams are good, and if well, someone gets a lead, we'll see where the gold can translate. I mean, Beyblade on Katarina is kind of this wild card, I think, in the game that we really need to watch out for.
I I don't think this champ has been let through in years.
Yeah, like at all.
This has maybe been in the last year and a half, 2 years of the SBL, the most feared of the SBL one tricks.
Yeah,
And so I'm super excited to see this in action. I know it's come through a few times now that I start thinking about it, but I'm super excited to see this.
yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see Amumu because Amumu's always been one of my favorite champions. I think he was one of the very first that I ever played. Uh, just excited to see some Curse the Sad Mummy combos, but we'll see if Sword can link up with his new team for tonight.
God, these resets are going to get disgusting as these fights go on for Ornhub. This is definitely the type of game where it could look like back in our day has won a team fight decisively, and then you blink and they turn around and lose it.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Darius and Katarina with reset mechanics.
Yeah, and Kaisa can get pretty far forward pretty fast too, once especially if she starts dishing out a lot of damage. As I am still on this loading screen.
Yeah,
All right,
Beyblade. I see it.
okay,
0%. He's the
same.
toaster.
Making sure we're synced here. I got pretty baited by the last game just dropping me in at 40 seconds.
Oh, um, I got a unable to download spectator data. The game will now exit.
Same.
Huh. All right, I'm trying again. I'm back in it. Hopefully this loads.
Yeah, Mochas.
Oh, bingo! I'm in.
Alright, thank God.
Yeah, at least we got the stream in here.
That is some scary shit, and you know, spectator clients are indie game,
Yep.
etc. Alright, I'm in 26, 27, 28. Alright, we are in, and this is potentially exciting. Back in our day, baiting this invade, but there is no invade coming.
Yeah, I wonder if they maybe looked at past footage. I mean, I can't tell. I have no idea, but maybe this team is more likely to invade. They've done it maybe more so in the past, so they're maybe just trying to read that. But I mean, with emergency subs on the board too, they're just playing it safe. No organized strats here.
Minions have spawned.
Yeah, so that will get Shotman roaming his way up towards the top land. Yeah, and it begins.
Orin is actually Timo, by the way. Alright.
Here we go. Junglers have been leashed, lanes have been established. So we see some damage coming on the spot land. I got a feeling we're gonna see a directed camera top early and often. I think these two are gonna be drawing it out a lot early. Although Salvo gets rooted early. Normally Scotch will take the big damage early, but today it's Salvo, and that is yet another level 1 first blood given up by the back in our day bot lane.
Wow, yeah, and I mean, heads up, Ignite from Sensory GG. He lays that down nice and early. Salvo's heal, not effective to say the least, and he goes down and loses both of his summoners there.
Yeah, he pops both of his summoners after already being snared. I mean, there's no other way I can put this. This is an inexcusable mistake out of Salvo not to have flashed that snare. And this is just, oh. I feel like I spent so much of that draft talking about how bad this game can go if the Mighty Wolf gets rolling. And here he rolls.
Yeah. Oh man, this could get ugly. I don't know too much about Orin in general, but I definitely don't see him in the support role, at least compared to his top lane appearances. I feel like it's gonna be some tough cookies for Salvo and Scotch here in this lane.
Yeah, especially because the Kaisa is going to outscale.
Yeah.
So Splinter's gonna need to get something rolling big, but he is looking for it here in this top lane. Fowlin was fairly pushed. They're trying to get the CC down. A flash auto follow, but Matt Splinter with the flash auto follow. Splinter puts himself on the board.
Nice. Good solid gank there from Splinter. Abusing Fowlin's. Oh, a little over aggressive there. He's just over that middle lane line. Or top lane, middle line. And yeah, gets taken out. Uses the flash as well.
Yeah, and that's both of his summoners taken off the board, so maybe Splinter gonna just give up on his bot lane, try to get his solos big.
Yeah, and we touched on it just briefly in the draft. I mean, Trundle, compared to Orin at least, just a little bit more of a mad cow champion, you know, like you were saying. I mean, Trundle can definitely be built, and look at it, the longsword already. You can definitely build a good amount of damage into a Trundle and really get him scary.
Another snare goes down on a Scotch, but no follow-up on that one. Although Fowlin gonna get a big trade there, so there's a lot of creep damage coming out on the Shotman too. Yeah, Shotman just not really respecting the dives. This is a champion he should know well. Meanwhile, Beyblade, I know we were talking about in the draft that maybe Renai with this Ignite was going to try to fully pre-6, but there hasn't really been any of that, so they're about to have ults here in an even laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, Dario, he's trying to keep this wave where it is and not get pushed under his tower. Yeah, it's not gonna happen against Darius. It's just that's the champion. We have a Sword Maze waiting in the wings of mid lane here. Level 4 Amumu. He's got that blue smite. I don't think...
It's going to be a difficult gank. Amumu is telegraphed enough that Lissandra should be able to W out almost every time.
Yep, and top lane getting really dicey there. The stacks are on Dario Jautman, but Fallon's the one to disengage.
Yeah, by the way, Salvo down 3 waves in this bot lane after he finishes clearing some of this under his tower. Ugh.
Yep, Master Splinter, he's in the river, but yeah, a nice ward there from the red team spots him out.
Yeah, this is just tense. It feels like both of these teams are one mistake away from this game getting blown wide open, and
Yeah.
they're really towing the line of making that mistake. This bot lane is just, I mean, already a train wreck for Salvo and Scotch.
Oh, another binding
that might be
blast.
it. Yeah, it hits and it turns into a kill, and now Scotch tries to do some damage on the end of that, but at least that kill went over to Century GG, as far as back in their day sees it.
For their sake, you mean, yeah.
But Salvo's gonna be even more CS down. Salvo already down 1,000 gold at 7 minutes to the Mighty Wolf. Gotch down 300, so just the kill gold.
Yeah, but looks like he had enough gold though to get that BF sword back on Jin, so it could be worse. But still gonna be extremely tough against the Kaisa, who's actually coming back with the recurve bow and the pickaxe. So a lot of stats already on board for the Mighty Wolf. And looks like Scotch, or Sword Mage rather, on the Amumu. He's just sort of content farming it out, but in the top lane, they're going back in the standstill 1v1, and Dario Jautman just ults and wins.
Yeah, but watch out, because Sister Beyblade's on the roam here. Dario Jautman is just now finding out. Will Beyblade go for this tower? Dive is thinking about it. He jumps in.
Oh!
Flash, ignite, gets the kill. And it's happening.
Nice, yeah. Good heads up roam there from Beyblade to avenge his fallen teammate, who both of those guys just, they signed the contract. We're like, yeah, we're just going to stand in this minion wave and we'll auto, and we'll see who wins.
It was a really incredible top lane fight. Although Blab is looking for the solo kill on the Beyblade here, but Sword interrupts Blab before he can W out. The ignite is ticking, it's close, but it will be a 1-for-1 trade.
Oh man, and you see we were ranking it on him for taking ignite. Needed there.
Century GG maybe in some danger here, but Ornn ult coming through, gets a knock, Black Shield stops him from getting too massive. Here's one, flashing forward, Salvo gets the kill into the Mighty Wolf. Can they dive this forward? They cannot.
Yeah, so Scotch landing the crucial CC there with the ultimate, and then the follow-up mini Malphite ult. And Splinter already in the river there with that red buff and able to take him out. Gets snared up by Century GG, so not able to pick up the more kill, but they are looking to take the first Drake of the game. Direct the camera thinks top lane's where we need to be, but here it is, we're back to the dragon. It's nearly half health now.
But
the
here we
red
go,
team comes
the
in.
Beyblades are spinning, the resets are coming. Master Splinter now low, but a second of the fight for Ornhub, and they're playing this one forward. Beyblade takes down with just a sliver of health.
Oh! Whoa! Oh, wait, that's an ally ability. I thought that was an enemy ability. It's all good, but 3 kills for Beyblade already before 10 minutes here. It's happening again. Vowlin has to just flash out, but the Trundle ult is still ticking. He turns around and a last ditch effort gets the level up, but not gonna be enough.
And so Red Team gonna get this first dragon of the game. It's an Earth. They are getting snowballing everywhere but the top lane. Where
this is interesting. So do you think that dragon call from back in our day was a bad one? I mean, they had just got they picked up the kill, but
they overestimate. I mean, it was still very early in the game, and they did not account for. Oh no, not again! And I hate to say it, but these two bad recalls out of Chapman are going to be pretty defining plays in this game. That's a huge part of the snowball on Sinister Beyblade that couldn't have happened if he was paying more attention.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's up there in a 1v0. I mean, it's just a matter of not being out there when you're low health. Prime for the picking.
But Renai, like he has done in previous weeks, roaming to get his bot lane involved in this game. The Orn ult coming through. It was a great Orn ult action. He gets the knock, but the Mighty Wolf 2 is going very low. Salvo, though, practically negative damage. Scotch going forward. This was a missing dive. But Salvo gonna try to call the curtain. Beyblade, though, here
but
on
Katarina!
the rope. Gonna look for it. He gets the flash on his Salvo. Looking for the spins. He gets the one.
It's happening!
Can he find the third? No, he's gonna give up on this. A double kill is plenty in Beyblade. They signed off on this. They gave him the Katarina, and they are paying for it with all of their lives.
Yeah. And Dario Chapman once again, through all of those minions, just tells Fallon, what are you doing? You can't step to me like that.
Yeah,
and kills him again.
This is honestly rough to watch in this top lane. Every time directed camera cuts up there, we see Fallon making the exact same mistake. He just doesn't look like he knows how to play League of Legends from behind, and he's 0-4 to show for it at this 12-minute mark.
Yeah, and Dario Chapman knows how to play with the lead, and he's doing it well in the isolated 1v1. But Katarina!
I know, I was so nervous.
Oh,
but that's the thing, is that enough of a lead? And currently it is not. Chapman has to keep just taking whatever he can find, because Katarina and Kaisa for Ornhub are both gigantic right now.
Yeah, wowzers. Oh, actually, mid lane here. Katarina Beyblade actually gets caught out, but he Zonia's the Wukong ult. But there's way too many members of Back in Our Day to get out of that one, and no flash on the board. Kill goes over to Renai Circulation. And Back in Our Day, they're going to push mid lane.
Yo, I want to shout out Vlad for that perfectly timed W that's hit Beyblade for the damage right as the stopwatch expired.
Yeah.
Swordmace though looks like he wants to hold this. The Curse of the Sad Mummy comes through. That was bad.
Yeah, objectively on paper, probably a misuse of the ultimate ability. But, I mean, hell, dude, they were all standing right there. You picked up some minions as well.
Yeah, but that's rough because not only, I mean, obviously the flash is a long cooldown, but Curse of the Sad Mummy, one of the longer cooldown ultimates in the game as well, so that's going to really neuter Sword's effectiveness for the next few minutes here, in addition to losing that mid lane turret. But that is actually a huge play for Back in Our Day, because that's going to give them a lot more containment for Sinister Beyblade. They can push that mid lane deep. They know not to push the top lane if Sinister Beyblade doesn't show on this creep line that is well past the river. But maybe Dario Chapman doesn't know what we know, and he ends up losing his flash there, but at least not his life for once.
Wow. I mean, it's really, in League of Legends, it's always been about the little thing. Sword and Mace, with that greedy ultimate and then having to slow his flash from earlier. The flash, if he had it there, could have flashed over the pillar and secured the kill on Dario Chapman.
Can we flash gold real fast? Because
yeah.
I'm shocked. Glad is up gold in mid lane.
Oh my, yeah, yeah, a little over, or about 100 gold.
That shows you, folks. CS matters a lot.
CS matters, man. Keep hitting those minions. Don't miss the cannon. So I mean, Back in Our Day, they've done a lot to win everywhere else besides Katarina's scoreline.
Yeah, and actually, I would not have predicted this, but Shotman's gold lead about the same as the Mighty Wolves. And here we go. We have a huge fight bringing up Beyblade, very low Beyblade, knocked up and killed, and now it's Motivate. No flash, no ult available, and blowing that ult in the last play could be costing his team big here, because now the call of the Forge coming through. Blab chasing forward, gonna try to knock the Mighty Wolf solo, and Blab gives him. Now essentially GG running, losing his life, and it's a 0-for-4 in favor of Back in Our Day. They're turning this game around.
Yeah, wow, they just kind of they snapped out of it, man. They woke up, they drank the second cup of coffee, and it's been nothing but back in our day for the last 5 minutes here. Just wins all over the board, really coordinated here. They're pushing the mid lane. Yeah, they're gonna get this tier 2 here and really break open mid lane.
And I hate to use Sword as an example, but this is so satisfying as a caster. When you criticize somebody for making the mistake and you say that's going to weaken them over the next few minutes, and then actually see the next team fight, and it actually costs them, and oh my god, man!
Chops the man. Chop man. You can't kill this guy. Stop trying.
I appreciate that they are content to play these top lane fights like a SNES JRPG, where they both just turn-based, mash that attack button, winner survives, that's that.
Yeah, I could put some heads-up thinking here by Ornhub. Ooh, man. Really could have been a nail in the coffin there if Blab steals it, but...
Yeah, there was no snipe, or no smite there. Sortimace was still running towards the dragon, so that was potential for Blab.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But they wanted to sneak it in there. They're real fast. They put a ton of wards down on the dragon side there. So they do have 2 mountain drakes to their name, and that's keeping them in this game. Yep, pretty much.
Just because this is a team that will shred Baron when the time comes. Kai'Sa fairly fast damage on Baron. Amumu destroys Baron Dasher.
Yep. And back in our day, they are starting up the rip field here. Dario Chapman, he's really got a lockdown on the top lane here. Foul lane W, just emoting now. Yeah, has to really respect this, can't walk up at all. But Sword Mace, he is in the area. And looks like there's going to be a couple more rotations from Ornhub here to the top side. Bandage comes down into Chapman, but the pillar blocks off Sentry GG. Will the bind land? It does. Paladin coming over around the side. Beyblade is trying to enter into this fight, but Master Splinter enters first, uses the ultimate, and it's a killing spree for Chopman. And Ornhub has to retreat down a member. Mighty Wolf still in the bot lane.
Yeah, that was rough. Kind of another wasted Curse of the Sad Mummy out of Soda Base there, is they really wanted to commit to getting that pick, but Shotman is gigantic. He's up 2,200 gold on Fallon W right now, although Salvo has made the mistake of playing League of Legends. Salvo with 2 of the worst summoners levels in the as well. But that's that. Here in the top lane though, Sword really probably wants that ult right now, but he doesn't have it. And Shelly doing work here as Back in Our Day is growing this gold lead, getting some nice pressure. They do not know where the Kai'Sa is, but I think they're content just to take half of that top lane turret and leave.
Yeah, and you can tell BioD is really objective focused. They've, you know, with very good intention of taking out the first 2 towers to mid lane, and then rotated to the top, took those 2 towers. They're just knocking them down as they go. Really opening up the map for some split push potential, because I mean, really, who are you gonna send to match this gross troll monster that is Dario Chopman?
Yeah, and Mr. Beyblade, he has cooled off a lot. He's had 6 kills. He's been sitting on 6 kills for a long time now. He's barely been CSing. Blab is now up 1,500 gold in the mid lane matchup.
Yeah, it's very impressive. But Blab, I mean, he after really the laning phase, he's just been a roam monster, and he's always there for his team, securing kills together, and CSing really well.
And now it is huge here because the big thing is that Beyblade could not even think about 1v1ing Chopman if they were to end up in the same lane. And that's what could really define the next few minutes of this game. It looks like we're going to see some tower pressure coming out here. Both of these teams are missing 1, but Fallen W would be able to teleport to this fight if it breaks out. Blab is starting to roam towards his team, but I would be kind of surprised to see a tower dive here. But they do have to be conscious. Yeah, they're going to actually have to blow a teleport to match Fallon, so that is a teleport advantage for Ornhub for a while here. Although it may not matter too much, I don't think anyone's going to be too concerned about Fallon showing up to one of these team fights right now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a small win for Ornhub.
So I think that Back in Our Day is going to need to commit to this split push now. Although, Fallon,
no.
is he going to die?
Yeah. Oh, Yeah,
What a
he's
stupid question. Of course he's
super,
gonna die.
super dead. Finds the backing Darius in the bush, and he gets to claim the prize. 0-7-1 for Fallon in this game. It's been a rough one, to say the least, in the top lane for Ornhub, but hope is not lost. I mean, the resets are real, and Sinister Beyblade is really looking for the first good fight. He can really do that in the mid game.
Yeah, but it's looking like the dive is coming through. Call of the Forge coming through. Get some knockups. Scott's though maybe a bit deep without his team here. Goes down to the Morgana.
Yep, Scott's getting a little hyphy there. He's like, yeah, we're doing this. Let's go.
But it might not matter. I don't know if Pornhub has anywhere to capitalize on this. They have to send people back to base to... Remember, that top lane turret is at half health. The Katarina is just now showing up. But maybe Lanai being a little deep here. He has to ult defensively just to put some damage down. But he is still... No, he's going to try to flash out when he pops his Hextech belt. But he gets snared and killed. Meanwhile, in this top lane, Master Splinter and Shotman playing too aggressively as Sinister Beyblade shows up. Forces a lot of summoners out and gets some kills, and now Ornhub is finally establishing some pressure.
Yeah, but back in our day, really let their foot off the pedal there. It's just sort of some weird haziness going on in their macro. Just started getting picked off left and right, but the good force of the 2v1 up top, they get Dario Chapman out of the lane and off the inhibitor and uses the flash as well.
Yeah, it was just it's such a tough game to call right now from back in our days perspective because they want to establish the split push, but they can't trust anyone in the 3 or 4 man situation because Ornhub can just pull the trigger so fast and wipe out 3 or 4 players so fast.
Yep. Yeah, if you group and try to take down a turret, you're one bandage toss away from getting locked up and having a Katarina spit on your entire team. So they have to really respect it here. But luckily, you see the Drake, I was going to say earlier, they were all down bot side, right? Because they have the 2 towers they need to take down in bottom lane. But there was no Drake, so they couldn't really take any objective. They lost a lot of time there, but now it is up. Both teams are in the river here, and Dario Chapman, he face checks the Ornhub rushes and finds Fallon, and he has to flash out, but Splitter's going to be the first one to claim a kill in this fight. The sad mummy cries, and he goes down as well.
Oh!
It's a wipe here. Back in our day, just piling it on. Beyblade has to use the hourglass, but it won't be enough. The reset doesn't begin.
Beyblade tries so hard to make a play there too. He wants to flash and get a kill there, but he ends up just wasting that summoner spell. And now, Renai ending things. He's going to try to duel defend one. Whoopsies. Well, that was a big mistake, but
Mighty Wolf is question mark pinging over his body.
You can't really blame him there. That was just silly moments out of Flab, but it doesn't matter. This is still a gigantic win for back in our day. They secured Earth Dragon as well, so it will not be that crazy 3 Earth Dragon Baron threat from Ornhub. But now, back in our day may be sticking around too long here. Sword of Mace does whip the bandage though, so back in our day should be able to pull out of this one.
Yep, they'll get away safely. At least most of them are nice circulation going down at the very tail end of that last fight. But back in the day, looking in a very good position to take this game and force a tiebreaker. They're up 5k here at the 23-minute mark. They did get that last Mountain Drake, so they kind of prevented the triple stack on Ornhub, which we were talking about earlier, which would have been really deadly, especially right now in this situation, as they are all at Baron.
Yeah, Blab is near though, but oh my god, that Baron is going down so fast. Just like we predicted.
Yeah,
Blab has to go in and try to disrupt this. Can he do it? Does not. And that is a Baron snuck by Ornhub.
Wow.
And this segs into what I was just about to say before the Baron happened, but I don't think Ornhub has to worry just yet because I think they outscale by a pretty substantial margin.
Yeah.
Even without a top laner on their team.
Yeah, they are kind of missing a body, at least like a fully geared up and ready to fight body in a potential 5v5 here in Fallon's Darius. I mean, he has the Black Cleaver, but now he's going straight tank, which is obviously the right move here. Has the Ninja Tappy as well. So maybe, I mean, you're right, in the very end game, Darius is passive, the stacks, it's still good. He'll just be sort of that tanky meat shield.
And to me, it's more about how Wukong and Lissandra and Jin are all going to fall off, and Amumu and Kaisa on the other team are going to just keep getting stronger and stronger, and synergize very well with the other picks on their team.
Yeah, I mean, Mighty Wolf, he's playing really well this game. He's been very on top of catching people out, like abusing the fact that they're in the position that they are. He's up over basically 3K over Salvo at this point. So
yeah, that lead has blown up in the last few minutes, and we're gonna finally see how big that lead is as he's flashing onto the Shotman. Shotman's trying to turn this life steal, but he's got nothing, and that's a bad sign for backing out.
This game is actually like anti-caster curse. We basically said everything, and then it just happens. But
yeah, I think Orno might have taken control of this game actually.
It sure looks like it, and they make a power play into the mid lane. Scotch not doing his damnedest there, but not gonna be able to keep that tier 1, and they lose it in the top lane as well. It's a 2-in-3 split for Ornhub, and Master Splinter's in the bottom lane. He's back here right now on Wukong. Scotch now trying to use the ultimate to delay this tower take, but it's not going to be enough. Mighty Wolf half health in the back line, but he stays alive, but no! He gets taken out by the Lissandra in a nice circulation, but Beyblade, he is here, and he is playing Katarina. He's going for the resets. The Zodiac to stay alive. Splinter goes down, and this late-ass teleport, what the hell?
Oh man, that was a disaster. They wanted to kill the Mighty Wolf so badly, they didn't think about anything else that would happen in that team fight. They set themselves up for a disaster. And now with this bear buff, I don't know why Shotman even approaches that.
Oh
turret.
no!
That is a full retard play out of the Mad Cow. And this is going to be major base damage here.
A full age just for a few seconds because Scotchnaut is now back up onto the map, but he's only back to see his inhibitor fall. It is so sad, but these are Baron minions still. They still have Baron buff throughout all of this.
Yeah, Salvo gonna try to pick up a kill here right at the end. Does he get the lucky shots? No, they're gonna be blocked. And now we see Ornhub in the team gold lead.
Wow. Kills are tied. The kill count has gone back and forth between these two teams, but the gold lead now back in Ornhub's court, but just ever so slightly.
Yeah, this has got to be rough for Back in Our Day, and a total tilter. Like we were saying earlier, Back in Our Day potentially needed to get a first seed to guarantee Master Splinter for all of their playoff matches, and they had that tiebreaker game in their grasp, and they threw it away so fast.
Yeah, there's a lull. It was when they tried to go down bot. I mean, it's a small thing, but it kind of stalled out their momentum. They're really methodical.
Me, this is not a dramatic throw or anything. This is a game that was not quite as far apart as the gold made it seem. And Ornhub did a fantastic job of grabbing the opportunity that was available. And then a few small mistakes added up very fast for Back in Our Day.
Yep. So 11 kills for Sinister Beyblade's Katarina. 8 stacks on the Dark Seal. Wow, it's gonna be gross if they actually line up everything here, like a Curse of the Sad Mummy into the Katarina ult, and then Kaisa on top of that damage. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, this should be a free dragon. Master Splinter is currently occupied clearing super creeps. It's just a wind drake, so I don't think that Back in Our Day would consider doing something silly to contest it.
Yep, very true. Yeah, Master Splinter, he's back at the Nexus. He has to try to push back this downed inhibitor wave that's crashing in on his top side. But yeah, the Drake taken easily and free for Ornhub. Oh, the double back. Very purposeful because he definitely knew that they were scouting and looking for that pick there. And Pillar's not going to do anything there. And Back in the Day, they survived for another day. Falcon using the flash there, not looking to get stunned up in enemy territory. But now this is devolved into a 5v5 to the bottom lane.
I actually think that Back in Our Day should try to just force this hard. Don't let this game keep going slow.
Yeah,
just
they only have a certain window. Yeah.
Just forget about Salvo. He's the bait. Rush in there, see if you can pop Wolf and hopefully Beyblade too.
Right, because if you take those two out, that's all of their damage. That's everything.
They're opting to play this slow instead. They're going to give up this tier 2 turrets. They now have supers back on their Nexus. They had their window. They lost it. And now they're going to be under some big pressure here on this bot lane inhibitor turret, which is going down very fast. Now they do get some damage on the Wolf, who was kind of far ahead of his team. The Ornult's coming through, but a Flash Shield will stop him. Being out from Messman is getting a big knockup, but Sword of Mace with the Amumu Wall is going to do enough to disengage us. This is looking good for Ornhub as the damage is coming through. They have not lost anyone yet, and they've already taken out 2. Colin just barely survived. Now Sword of Mace not done. The snare coming through, the reset's coming through. Multiple kills for the Katarina. The Kaisa getting some as well, and that is going to be the end of this game. A 0-for-4 tower dive from Ornhub, and they are going to secure themselves the 2nd seed in the SPL.
Wow, look at the health bars. They're so incredible. The Sword Mace. I mean, he's sad, mommy, but he's happy. Helped Ornhub win a game here, and yeah, like you said, Ornhub taking the 2nd seed here, and what I think a lot of people would have considered an upset, right? I mean, Ornhub playing not
with
a full
2
capacity.
emergency subs.
Two
Yeah, with 2 emergency subs and gigantic parts of the shot calling as well, which we didn't get a chance to talk about during the game. They can feel very good about winning that one. And back in our day, gonna feel very not good about playing about that one because they obviously wanted to win, and they did not.
Yeah, it's a tough way to go into the playoffs if you're back in our day, but you know, silver lining, you're in the playoffs, but you get to take a week off, rest, you know, cool off, get out of that tilt zone, and prepare. But that's it, man. That's the end of the regular season and of all Swain Baddy leagues.
Yeah, feels strange.
It feels
But
strange,
fortunately,
man.
we've still got a month of hopefully exciting best of 5s coming our way. Both of these teams at least have a week off, 2 in the case of Ornhub, to prepare for their first series. But we will be back next week, guys. Table for 4 versus Dive the Fountain for a quick 3-game set. So we hope to see you all there.
Bye-bye.